Hi everyone, my name is Josie Burt and I am excited to be in our final semester of our master's program together. I'm looking forward to our capstone and this culminating experience just to kind of wrap everything up and connect all the learning that we've done so far this year. Or not this year, but throughout this program. So some things that have impacted my thinking about literacy throughout the program. One was our practicum experience. I initially was very overwhelmed by that experience just because it was so much extra time and trying to find a student to work with. But I thought that the planning and implementing instruction for one student is so vastly different than doing it for a whole class or even a small group of students. However, I was able to take some of those ideas and use them when working with small groups in my classroom this year, which was really neat to take something that I learned and start practicing it right away. One of the things that I did take away was note taking and thinking about what is next for students. So I was very intentional about taking notes after I worked with any student in my classroom, whether it be on writing or a literacy foundational skill, since I teach kindergarten. And just really thinking about what needs to come next for those students. And I think overall, just being more intentional about pulling my small groups and taking what I've learned from that practicum experience, and especially leaning into that text that we had that had all of the different strategies to use. Because sometimes it's hard to come up with a strategy on the spot, but having that as a reference point has been really helpful in my teaching and in my real practice. Another thing that has impacted me were some of our classes, and most recently RDG 515. This course was really interesting to me because it had us dive in and look at texts and picture books in a more meaningful way, and I had never really thought about doing that with my kindergarten students, but moving forward I really want to take that into my classroom and have students look deeper into picture books, because there's so much that they're missing when they're just listening to a story and not looking at the different elements that make a text multimodal. So I do plan to talk more with my students about those ideas to help them develop deeper thoughts about the text that we read together, and really being intentional about allowing them to explain their thinking about why they liked something in a story or what they found interesting. I also really enjoyed the course RDG 519, the course where we were doing a lot of writing. Writing is something that I have always struggled with. I don't find myself to be a good writer, but I think that experience was very positive, and just accepting the idea that any type of writing is good writing. Doesn't matter the form of it, but just really being intentional about that in the classroom too, and making sure that my students are seeing me writing, whether it be just a list of things I need to do or their ideas down, because they're not quite writers yet at the beginning of the year, for all the things that they want to say and do. And I think it has impacted my writing instruction this year as a teacher, and I plan to carry that through the rest of my teaching as well, whether I stay in a classroom or if I go and work with small groups of students as a coach or a literacy specialist. And then another thing that has impacted how I feel and what I think about literacy has been our instructors. Many of the instructors of the courses we've taken have been super positive in all of the feedback that they've given, which is very helpful to me. I thrive on that positive feedback, and I know most people do, so I think taking that idea of giving students that positive feedback as well, on big things and on the small things that they do, looking to find their strengths and what they're doing well, so that they are encouraged to continue learning and doing all of the things that they need to grow and be better students and learn more, and to just be more literate in what they're doing. And I think especially in literacy, students, they tend to shy away because they think they're not good readers or they're not good writers. So really being intentional about my feedback to them is something that I have taken from all of these courses and from our instructors. A question that I still have that is always at the front of my mind is, when working with a small group in a classroom or individual students, how to get the rest of my class engaged and doing something meaningful so that I can really focus on those students. And I feel like I found a little bit better system this year, but I still want to know more and just continue to get different ideas about how I can be focused on my groups that I'm working with while I'm in the classroom, but still making sure that my other students are doing meaningful jobs and tasks so that they're getting the practice that they need as well. But I'm looking forward to this class and this final semester together. And I look forward to your responses as well. I hope you have a great semester.